I officially welcome you to our webinar session today entitled Do More with axiUm, Meet Your Customer Success Team. And we thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today, and we promise to make good use of your time. So let's get started. And it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Andrea Stewart. Andrea is an axiUm Customer Success Manager, and she's been working with the axiUm solution for over 5 years. Andrea has extensive experience in dental clinic operations, and she's worked in endo, ortho, and pedo specialty clinics. In her past life, Andrea worked in a jail, she ran a large financial department, and has been a private dental practice consultant providing guidance on clinical and financial workflows. And she joins us today as a co-presenter on today's webinar. So welcome, Andrea. And Andrea will turn on her webcam as well. And there she is. Hello. Welcome. Good morning. All right. Thanks for joining us today, Andrea. And our next presenter is Lauralynn. And Lauralynn is also an axiUm Customer Success Manager, and she's been working with the axiUm solution, well, I'm going to say over 10 years, but I think it's a little longer than that. So Lauralynn has extensive experience in the dental industry as well, having worked for clinics in both marketing and business operations. She joined Exan as a software trainer, which led her to consulting work and traveling the country assisting dental offices with their software implementations and business management. And Lauralynn also joins us today to co-present with Andrea, and she's going to kick off today's session. So thank you for joining us, Lauralynn, and welcome. There she is.
Thank you, Karina, and welcome everyone to our live webinar. As Karina mentioned, my name is Lauralynn, and it's my pleasure to co-present today's session with my partner in success, Andrea Stewart. We both look forward to using our axiUm expertise to help you get the most value possible from your investment. And today I have the privilege to tell you more about our role of a Customer Success Manager and how that role can benefit you. Andrea and I will now turn off our webcams and allow you to stay more focused on today's presentation. So let's get started. Okay, so let's take a quick look at an overview of today's agenda. First, we'll discuss the Customer Success Manager role and why it was created. That will lead us into a discussion about working together and the benefits to you. We'll then show you how you can help evaluate your axiUm system so that you can do more with the software. We'll go over a typical customer success visit, what's involved, the goals, and the desired end result. Then we'll talk about the importance of strategic planning and how we can help you do this. We'll also throw in a couple of audience poll questions during today's session just to keep you engaged. And finally, we'll end today's webinar with a question and answer session. Without a doubt, the most effective way to keep your customer happy is to make them as successful as possible while using your tech product. And the success of our customers has been and always will be our primary focus at Exan. We truly believe that high tech needs high touch. And we believe that even if your product or technology has the most extensive feature list, if you don't use it well, opportunities may be missed. We've now entered into the age of the customer. In the age of the vendor, businesses controlled their products and services, as well as the information customers received about these offerings. But times have changed. We've moved into the age of the customer. The vendor still controls its product or service, but the customer is in the driver's seat regarding product information. And technology gives customers access to whatever product information they require. The buying decision is now firmly in the customer's hands. In an article last week by Sam Pudwell, production editor of IT Pro Portal, Pudwell states that the most profound change is not taking place within the industry. It's happening to customers. As the great equalizers, technology, mobility, and the internet have made customers exponentially smarter, faster, and put them in control like no other time in history. Customers are not looking for a product, they're looking for a trusted advisor and an experience. They're not just looking for answers. They want deep, meaningful insights. In other words, the age of the customer has arrived, and businesses now need to connect to customers in a whole new way. And because of this shift in focus to the age of the customer, Exan recognized the need for an axiUm customer advocate, someone who is committed to building relationships with each of you to ensure your success, someone who's genuinely interested in working with you to help you solve your problems, and someone who can develop roadmaps for growth and change that ensure you are as successful as possible in your axiUm journey. So we developed the Customer Success Manager, or CSM role, to engage, monitor, and nurture our communications with you, our clients. Ultimately, the CSM role is designed so that you can leverage all aspects of the axiUm product and connect you with Exan's internal resources. This allows you, the client, to optimize your productivity and ultimately be more successful. Before we proceed, we'd like to take a quick audience poll. Karina will queue up the question so you can see it on your screen. The question is, how do you best define success in axiUm? Please choose one of the following answers. axiUm improves our ability to offer better patient care. axiUm provides us with academic and educational controls. axiUm enables us to capture data to conduct research. Or axiUm gives us the ability to report and pass accreditation. I'm sure it will be difficult to narrow your answer to just one, so we'll give you a few seconds to make your choices and then we'll share the poll results with you.
Okay, thanks Lauralynn. I will just give you everybody a few more seconds. Maybe what I'll, yeah, thanks Lauralynn. We'll just move those aside so I can see how everyone's voting. And give you a few more seconds. Let's see, almost everyone has voted. Couple more seconds. Boy, we do need the Jeopardy music here, don't we? Okay. All right. Well, it looks like everyone who wants to vote has voted. So what I will do is I will close that, and then I'm going to bring it up on screen so everybody can see it. And maybe if I could just get you to move those aside so I can see the results, Lauralynn. Thanks. Sorry. Sorry, folks. Just for a few more seconds. There you go. You can see that on screen. Now I can see it. So for our first poll question, which we asked you, how do you best define success with axiUm? It looks like 59% of you have voted that it provides or gives you the ability to offer better patient care, with 30% of you that have said that it provides you with the ability to, with academic educational controls. Sorry, I will take my glasses off so I can read that better. We have 2% that says it allows you to capture data to conduct research. And then at 9%, axiUm gives us the ability to report and pass accreditation. Okay, that's our first poll. We'll have another one shortly, but what I'll do is I'll hide that. We will go back to the slides, and I will hand the mic back over to Lauralynn.
Okay, thank you, Karina. So we've talked a little bit about your success and the role that we play as your customer success managers. Now let's take a closer look at how we can help you achieve that success. By working together, we get to know your business, which enables us to utilize our strengths so we can help you to prevent and correct problems, optimize axiUm in your business processes, and to improve your productivity and ultimately your satisfaction with axiUm. As your axiUm champions, we can engage all the resources in our company. We have the ability to use your feedback to influence and escalate issues with the various departments at Exan. For example, we represent you with departments such as customer support, product development, custom services, our training and consulting and implementation experts, and the Exan's leadership team. And your feedback is a precious resource for us. As customer success managers, we engage the axiUm clients more than any other department in our organization. We hear what you love, what your challenges are, and what you must have in order to succeed with axiUm. No one else in our organization has access to that sort of tangible feedback. It is our job to make sure that your feedback is directed accordingly. It's essentially a goldmine of information that we can use to help you build strong bonds and relationships with us. It'll help us deliver better products for you, and it allows us to deliver exceptional levels of proactive service to you. We also have access to all of the best practices that help you get the most out of axiUm. While we may suggest a best practice for a specific workflow, what is a best practice for one customer may not be the best practice for you. Brainstorming to help determine your best practice is part of our role. For example, axiUm's Appointment Expert feature has such flexibility and so many options that it can be overwhelming. Your CSM will listen intently and help you customize the expert to your needs. Part of what we do as CSMs is to share new and exciting news with you about axiUm and our partnerships. Here's a quick snapshot of some of those partners. For example, one of the new items that we are very excited about is batch insurance eligibility checks from the axiUm Info Manager. While you could do individual eligibility checks from the patient card for quite some time now, clients told us that this was far too time-consuming. Staff need to check eligibility, but they're so busy that they needed a more automated process. Beginning in axiUm 6.04, our summer 2016 release, we have introduced batch eligibility checks. This integration is enabled with our partnership with Change Healthcare, formerly known as MDON. Staff can now use the Info Manager to define criteria, such as which clinics and insurance companies to run the checks for, and even exclude patients who have had a recent check already done. Another item we're also very excited about is the NEA Fast Attach and the next level of integration. axiUm's NEA Fast Attach integration streamlines the attaching of documents and images to claim IDs. Again, customer feedback indicated that staff did not have time to edit each insurance company to add the list of which procedure codes required attachments. So the axiUm developers worked with NEA Fast Attach to allow this information to be imported and updated using a new process in maintenance. Both of these new features in axiUm can help streamline your insurance process and reduce rejected claims. And the more complete and accurate a claim is, the better success rate for prompt payments. The axiUm development team meets with the CSMs on a regular basis and listens to the feedback that we bring to them from our clients. So working together with you, putting you in touch with our company resources, using your feedback to improve our products and services, providing you with best practices so that you can get the most out of axiUm, and working with other third-party software vendors, we are essentially developing a culture that is proactively committed to your success. I'm now going to hand the mic over to Andrea, and Andrea will review how we can help you get more out of your axiUm system, and she'll also go over what to expect at a customer success site visit. And she'll discuss the importance of conducting regular business reviews and strategic planning.
Thank you, Lauralynn, and hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to present the next few sections of our webinar session today. To begin, let's talk about how we, as your CSMs, can help you do more with axiUm. As you travel the axiUm waters, your CSM is your tour guide. We help you navigate the axiUm world and identify untapped opportunities. Lauralynn and I have been on this ship for a long time, and we understand how specific features can enhance your axiUm experience. For example, Did you know that axiUm gives you 3 ways to control start checks? The first way is in the scheduler. A start check can be exempt via a custom SQL that indicates a procedure does not require a start check. Another way to control start checks is in the patient type codes window. By selecting the checkbox, Start Checks When Required, also indicates this patient type requires a start check. A third way to control start checks is axiUm in clinics. By selecting the Not Required drop-down, axiUm can exempt a clinic from requiring a start check. Your practices and policies may result in the adaptation of all or one of these start check processes. Here's another example. Did you know that axiUm can perform bulk patient reassignments? In the Patient Assignment tab, you simply highlight the patients to be transferred, right-click, and choose Assign New Provider. And then you simply choose the new provider from your list. So there are many ways that we can help you utilize axiUm to its full potential. And by doing so, you empower your organization to take advantage of all of the features designed to make you successful. Think about the ways that you use axiUm in your organization, such as the collection of patient data, the need to control and preserve the privacy of that data, the reporting required for accreditation, the ability to participate in research programs, and the sheer ease of access to information in axiUm. For example, with axiUm's new online solutions, Doctor Access, Faculty Access, First Access, and Patient Access, we can introduce you to new methods in which your patients, faculty, and staff can easily access axiUm's data via kiosks, smartphone, and tablets. Of course, today's new mobile technology has enabled these freedoms. And with these new online solutions, it's easier than ever for patients to communicate with you and allow students, faculty, and staff to move freely about the clinic floor. axiUm is a solution with many powerful features. We cannot expect you to know or remember all of them, but we want you to be aware of them so that you can experience their full value. So it's our job as your CSM to remind you of the axiUm features you could be using and focus on what's most effective to make you successful. Our first poll question, we asked how you define success with axiUm. And we realize it's a loaded question, but it's one that begs to be answered. And because you've invested your precious time and resources into axiUm, it's our job as your CSM to ensure that both parties are moving forward with a shared success plan. In the next section, we'll discuss the steps to take to create this shared success plan. Earlier, Lauralynn went over the roles of the CSM and what that means to you. She also reviewed how working together with your team can help you achieve success. In this section, I will describe a typical customer success site visit. We like to think of it more as a rediscovery visit because it's certainly not the first time your axiUm team has been to your facility. Much like a dental recare exam, this is an opportunity for us to review, evaluate, and diagnose the use of axiUm and your use of axiUm. I'll cover what you should expect of a visit, what's involved, and the goals, and of course the desired results. So what are the benefits of a site visit to you? Well, first, we come to your place of business. There's no cost to you. The entire visit is entirely complimentary. We find that staff like to meet face-to-face with a vendor. For example, I recently went on site to a school and met their staff in their environment. The meeting and discussions led to the discovery that the staff were using a paper book for wait lists. They were pleasantly surprised at the ease of use of axiUm wait lists. Here are some additional benefits to a site visit. The site visit provides us both with the opportunity to get to know each other and become better acquainted. We learn your business and clinical workflows. We can offer solutions based on industry and other dental schools' best practices. This allows you to discover the additional benefits of axiUm and working closely with us. For example, meeting your CSM gives you the chance to brainstorm with an axiUm expert who has working knowledge of the world of dentistry. And a site visit is a great opportunity for you to discuss your axiUm wish list items. We, in return, will share your story with our product development team so that they fully understand and appreciate the why behind your request. Ultimately, a site visit allows us to imagine ourselves in your shoes, rather than defining your journey from how we think it should unfold or how our internal operations are structured. It's extremely beneficial for both you, the client, and for us, Lauralynn and I, to have one main point of contact while planning a site visit. First, you'll want to consider who to invite to the meeting. For example, attendees will most likely include deans, department managers, subject matter experts, and other key axiUm stakeholders. Together, we will come up with an agenda for a site visit. We'll agree in advance on the topics that need to be addressed, topics such as benefit plans or recalls, for example. We'll also discuss in advance any deliverables that are required. And then, of course, after the visit, you will receive a detailed report from your CSM with a list of recommendations. I'll talk a little bit more about this report shortly. The good news is that we've created a document for you to help with the planning of a site visit. The guide is designed as a checklist to help you successfully coordinate and arrange a site visit with your CSM. And as we mentioned earlier, we'll be sending you all a copy of this free guide by email after today's webinar session. Before we move on, let's take another audience poll. Karina will queue up the questions so that you can see it on your screen. The question is, if the opportunity presents itself, when would you be open to a site visit from your customer success manager? Please choose the answer from one of the following. Yes, we would like our customer success visit within the next 6 months. Yes, we would like our customer success visit within the next 12 months. Our CSM recently came for a site visit, or don't know, are unsure. We'll give you a few seconds to make your choice, and then we'll share the poll results with you.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. We'll just give everybody a couple more seconds to finish voting. And looks like people are still trying to decide. Okay, I think that's it. I think perhaps that's it. Okay, I'm going to close that, and we will share the results with you. And thanks, Lauralynn, so I can see what the results are. You should all be able to see that. So in the answer to the question, if you are interested in having a site visit from your customer success manager, it looks like most people have said within the next 6 months. That's at 45%, so that's good news. 23% are looking at perhaps within the next year. And looks like 8% of the schools there have already had their CSM recently come for a site visit. And then we just have another 25% that are, at this point in time, unsure, don't know. So, all right, that is our final poll that we will ask today. I'm going to hide those, and thanks for participating in our poll questions. And I will hand the mic back over to Andrea, and we will go to the next slide.
Thank you, Karina, and thank you all for participating in our final poll question today. The last subject we are going to touch on is strategic planning. Lauralynn and I both have done consulting work in private dental practices and academic institutions. We listen with our consulting earbuds in. And while it would not be possible to do a full consulting plan in one day during a site visit, we will be able to make suggestions. For example, how to make small changes in your axiUm on your own. Or perhaps engage one of our axiUm consultants to partner in your process improvement plan. A few slides back, I briefly mentioned that after the site visit, you will receive a detailed report from your CSM with a list of recommendations. We call it the Business Review Report, which is our summary of findings and recommendations to you. The report includes a review of your current axiUm implementation and what features you're using, a list of suggested features that we recommend you consider implementing, plus a list of modules that you might want to consider adopting along with the benefits to you, an overview of deliverables and follow-up items, as well as a summary and next steps with your CSM. After a short while, after the initial visit, we will schedule a regular business review meeting with you. Typically, these will be in the form of an online go-to-meeting session. In these calls, we'll cover such items as future focus considerations, customization suggestions, current axiUm feature list, meaningful use ideas if appropriate for your organization. And during this meeting, we'll also reevaluate your current implementation and project status to ensure that we have established the correct expectations and timelines to reach your desired outcomes. Your journey with axiUm will grow and change with the years. By charting your course and identifying key goals and objectives with strategic planning, together we can establish the challenges and/or opportunities you are trying to address. This, in turn, delivers valuable insight into what you want to achieve, which makes it easier for us to help you navigate the axiUm waters and steer you in the right direction. Because at the end of the day, what you really should be doing is worrying less whether or not you're using axiUm to its full potential, but focusing on the important things, like happy patients and happy dental students. Because if we can put the wind in your sails, we have done your job.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. Thank you very much. I think she meant to say we have done our job, but that's okay. She's having a little bit of a laugh. Okay, thanks everyone. What we're going to do now is pause to answer some of your questions, and just a reminder, keep in mind that if we're not able to answer all of your questions today, we will be following up with you after today's session. Sometimes we get a lot of questions and we just can't answer all of them in the time frame that we have. So I will read the questions aloud and have either Andrea or Lauralynn provide the answer. And we do have one question that we have here from one of our attendees. The question is, I see that some schools have already had a customer success visit, and how do you determine which clients to see when? The question. I will get Lauralynn to answer that question for us, so I'll mute.
Great, thanks Karina. Actually, that's a great question. It's funny, I think of this a bit like visiting friends, because I feel like our clients have become our friends over the years for sure. Some friends kind of reach out to you with a certain need, and sometimes you reach out to a friend you haven't seen in a while. Sometimes you stop in and visit one friend while you're in the neighborhood, and we commonly do that if we're going to see one client in a certain state and there's another client close by, even if that client hadn't reached out to to us. Sometimes we just pick up the phone and say, we're going to be in the neighborhood. Would you like to have a customer success visit around the same time? And that often works out. And I also just wanted to say that if you don't yet know who your CSM is, please email. We've got kind of a standard email that you can send us a message at csm@exansoftware.com. Or if you know who your CSM is, you could just email us directly, myself or Andrea.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lauralynn. And just getting to the questions here, we do have one. Maybe I'll ask this question. I'll have Andrea answer it for us. The question is, what is the timeline for setting up a customer success visit?
Thanks, Karina. Right now, we are currently booking, both Lauralynn and I are booking our customer success visits into the fall of this year, 2016, and into early 2017. Sometimes the biggest challenge is picking the date. So we do recommend that we have at least 2 months in advance, and that gives you time to schedule any attendees, to firm up the agenda. We can help you with that, and also booking conference rooms and people into those conference rooms. We realize that sometimes is a bit of a problem.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. Another question we have here that's come up. The question is, what version of axiUm has the start check, custom SQL, and the eligibility check in the info manager? I believe is the question, and I'll get Lauralynn to answer that one.
Yes, actually, that is coming out in version 6.04, which we're releasing this summer. And so that's, I believe that's to do the batch eligibility checks, yep, through the info manager. And so that one, 6.04, and that will be coming out this summer. So most clients who are doing upgrades this summer would have the opportunity to move to the 6.04 version. I have seen this item, and I must admit a lot of people are going to be excited by it because you can just run the info manager report, customize your criteria. So you might be running it for everyone in your pediatric clinic who's a Medicaid patient. There is a list on the MDON website to tell you which insurance companies can do these online eligibility checks. You set that up as well in axiUm, and then you could run the query, and let's say that your list shows that you have 50 patients that you want to run the eligibility checks for. You'll press a process button in the info manager, and it will go out and check each one individually for you instead of someone doing them manually, and then it will put all of the information into the eligibility area onto the patient card. So it's kind of doing all that work that I've seen schools that have staff start out each day spending 1 to 2 hours doing something like this because it's that important, and it does it right away. The other thing that's kind of nice is they built it in, so let's say that I have a patient who came in today and now they're coming in a couple of days. I could exclude patients that I've already done an eligibility check for in the last so many days. So I think this is going to actually be a great feature. There is a small charge per claim or per eligibility check, but there's no need to purchase any software to do this other than doing the upgrade, and our support department can get you started with it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Lauralynn. And there is a question about the email that we gave out, so I can just give that out to you right now. So the question basically is, can you give out that email again about CSM? So it's pretty straightforward. The email that you can reach Andrea or Lauralynn at is csm@exansoftware.com. And we'll also show it at the very end. There's a slide at the very end of today's presentation that will show you that as well. And we'll just pause a little bit longer to see if there's any other questions. Okay, well, I think we are running out of time. There are some questions that we've had. Quite a few questions have come in. So what we will do is Andrea, Lauralynn will kind of go through them after the end of today, and we will answer those for you as we're trying to wrap up in 45 minutes here. So let's move on. Just a quick reminder that for taking the time to join us today, we do have a gift for you all. We will email you a copy of our e-guide entitled Do More with axiUm, your guide to planning a successful customer visit. And in the email, a link to download a recording of today's webinar will also be included should you want to share it with other colleagues or just listen to it at a later date. And as always, we invite you to share your comments or feedback on today's webinar topic. And included in the email will be a link to a real short survey. And in the survey, just tell us what you thought and let us know if you have any feedback on today's session or additional ideas on future webinar topics. So for all that, look for an email in your inbox shortly after today's session with those details. And a quick reminder that in a couple of weeks, our new axiUm community website will be live on Monday, June the 13th. This will be your one-stop online shop. The new website will enable you to submit support cases, search for knowledge, access documentation, collaborate via online sessions, and suggest ideas. So again, keep an eye out for an email with instructions on how to access this new site in the next week or so. And once again, on behalf of our presenters, Andrea and Lauralynn, I sincerely thank you all for joining us today, and we hope you found the webinar not only informative and interesting, but useful as well. And here's that website or email address, that I said we were going to put up again. For more information or to reach out to Andrea and Lauralynn, you can send an email to csm@exansoftware.com. Again, thank you everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.